What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So today we're going to be analyzing each individual part of the upcoming Super Sugo-Fest. I have made the video today talking about how I believe this Sugo-Fest is extremely greedy, just in the fact that there's no discounts, and the gem sales are relatively poor to previous celebrations that we've had. So I do want to just say this once again, pull at your own risk. You know, I know a lot of people are very excited for these characters, but honestly, the Sugo-Fest structure isn't great, the sales are not great, but it is up to you at the end of the day. There are amazing characters available on this banner, and I know that a lot of people are still going to do pulls either way, but probably maybe not as many pulls as what they were initially going to do. But anyways, in this video, we're going to be breaking down each of the parts, having a look at what characters are actually available, and determine which one's actually worth going for. Because a lot of people are going to ask, you know, I want to get X, Y, and Z characters, which one should I go for? Well, let's go ahead and have a look. So shout out to whoever made this infographic. I absolutely don't know who made this one, but this was made from when Japan had this Sugo-Fest. And the thing is everything is the exact same, all the way down to the boosted characters on the banner, which is pretty crazy. So let's go ahead and jump over here to part 1. So part 1, remember, has every single legend in the game is available on this part, but there are characters that are rated up. So you've got obviously all the Super Sugo units, Moria, who I think is one of the best legends in the game, so good as a captain and a very powerful sub, really good in PvP as well. V2 Shirahoshi Manchir, again, one of the best subs in the game. Germa, a super underrated, and then you got like these other characters here. I mean, Rayleigh is a sometimes used character, a little bit niche though. If you're a beginner player, you probably don't want to get him. Arlong is good in some cases as a crewmate. Nami Robin is okay. Sober Mask I think is relatively good. Halloween Ace is a pretty solid unit. V1 Kaido is great, and you got Sabo Koala, V2 Katakuri, Carrot's really nice to have, and you got Whitebeard and Marco. So remember, every legend's available, but these ones are going to be rate boosted, so we don't know what the rate is going to be. I hope it is decent, because like if the rate to get like these 3 new Super Sugo units on part 1 is greater than getting like one of those units on their given part, then part 1's actually not as bad as what we thought, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. The 20th multi guarantees you one of these 5 units. Now look, it really comes down to the rates at the end of the day, but I'm pretty sure most people aren't going to be doing 20 multis on part 1. If you do, you're guaranteed to get one of those 5 legends, and then on the 30th multi, you're guaranteed to get one of the new legends. Unfortunately, there is that chance that you could potentially get a dupe character on that 30th multi as the same one that you got on the 20th multi, but you know, those are the games that we like to play in the Treasure Cruise community. And for rated up units, you got some decent rare recruits, including all of the new batch. But I mean, part 1's really hard to gauge, especially because we don't know what the rates of each individual character are going to be. But, you know, as I said, if the rates for Luffy, Law, and Kid combined is greater than Luffy, Law, and Kid on the individual part, then part 1 is actually pretty good. And I will be doing a multi or 2 on part 1. I will be live streaming that one, and it's going to be very interesting to see what the rates are like for these 3 individual units. Something to also note as well is that these limited time anniversary characters seem to be available on all parts. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it's confirmed that Rebecca is pullable on like Law or Kid's part, for example, because like Rebecca's guaranteed on Luffy's part, Shirahoshi's on Law's, and then Reiju is on Kid's. I don't know if all 3 of them are pullable on all banners, or it's just, I'm pretty sure they will be, including all of these other anniversary style units. This Chopper and Nami are really good, by the way. This Perona is really nice to have. The rest of them are just kind of okay, but anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next part. So moving on to part 2, remember that parts 2, 3, and 4 are all going to be 24 hours after the release of the Sugo-Fest. Part 1 is going to be there for 24 hours, then part 2, 3, and 4 will debut. Now, a little bit different though is that not all legends are available. On part 2, only these ones you see here will be on the banner itself. So this is kind of interesting here, because we've got Luffy, who's awesome, Roger and Odin, who are fantastic, Magellan is a great choice, Super Type Kaido, one of my favorite legends released this year. Halloween Shanks, a little bit of a downer. You've got this Super Type Boa Hancock, who is amazing. You got Super Type Katakuri, who's good in Kizuna. Kid, good in Kizuna. Aokiji is an okay crewmate. Shanks' crew, legit one of the best units in the game, is going to still be one of the best units for a pretty long time. Pudding's unique. Komurasaki's okay. Shirahoshi Manchiri, I'm not a big fan of V1. V1 Vivi Rebecca, though, is wicked. Really good crewmate. And then you got some other ones to kind of fill in the gaps. Luffy Law doesn't see too much play these days. Cracker's okay, especially with his Super Evolution. Batu Cavendish. Capone Owen, V1 Big Mom, Shiki, V2 Akainu's okay, Luffy Ace, Robin isn't too bad, I suppose. Dofi's definitely not that good anymore. We've got this V2 Lucci, you've got Enel, V1 Akainu, Kizaru, and Fujitora. But, you know, that's going to be the thing with all of these banners. Is like, yeah, the top end of this banner is pretty good, but the ones near the bottom are definitely not as desirable. But let's have a look here, right? I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess 7, 8, 9, 10... 11, I would say. I'd say 11 of these units are like probably units you want to have on your account. I think probably Capone as well with his 6+ is pretty respectable, I must admit. So, you know, in terms of the characters available here, this is not a bad one to reroll for. It's going to be hard because I'm going to have a look at the other banners and what's actually available. But I mean, Roger and Odin being available on all parts of the Sugo is really good for a lot of players, basically. So if there is a character that you really want to get in your account, it doesn't matter which one you reroll on, getting access to Roger and Odin on any part of the Sugo is really good. And you got the 10th multi, so if you go 10 multis deep on this particular banner, you're guaranteed to get one of these 15 legends. So it'll be a 1% chance for each one of these units here. And a lot of these units are super solid. You know, as we said, a lot of the top end units are here, so that's great. I mean, Rebecca's fantastic for you, Rebecca. Pudding, Shanks crew, you know, Boa, and then the top 5 are really, really good too. So the 10th multi, guaranteeing one of those is awesome. And then the 7th and the 20th multi, you have a super limited pool. So you've got how many? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 legends, and that's a 15% chance. So you know, the chances to get either one of these units is pretty good, and all of these units are fantastic. I think the only one that kind of sucks is kind of Shanks, and then Katakuri is probably not as desirable at this point. I think Bo is still super solid, and the rest of these units are really nice too. But overall, part 1 looks pretty solid, or part 2 should I say, looks pretty solid if that is the part you want to go down. But unfortunately, only Zora is the rate boosted new rare recruit on this banner. So I don't know why they've done it that way. I feel like all the rare recruits, all the new ones should have been boosted on all the parts as like a blanket, but unfortunately they didn't go down that route. But I think part 2 honestly looks pretty solid. So now we move on to part 3, which is the Trafalgar Law part of the Sugo-Fest. So with this one, we got Roger Odin once again, unfortunately V3 Blackbeard, and Super Type Zoro as well. That's kind of unfortunate because with Law active, like, Zoro isn't as of a desirable captain. He is still usable because a lot of people forget the fact that this Zoro has an inbuilt effect in his captain ability that resists 10 turns of special bind. That's super underrated, and a lot of people kind of forget that. Pretty nice for that. Plus, he is an orb booster. Law is an attack booster, so you can have Law as your captain with a Zoro. Really good hybrid functionalities there. Kaido versus Big Mom is super good. I really like Halloween Mihawk still. Snake Man is a very good option. Hawkins, not as desirable. Luffy, Zoro, definitely not as good anymore, but, you know, they have access to Wano slots, which is pretty unique. Chopper's a fantastic unit. You've got Stampede Luffy, who isn't as desirable. Cat Dog. Oh, man, this goes really bad very quickly. Oh, man. Okay, V2 Shanks is okay. I mean, Lucy's fine. Hody sometimes can be useful. Buggy, maybe, I suppose. Yeah, man, I mean, I think this is definitely a really bad part of this Sugo-Fest. I can't really say this part of the Sugo-Fest is good. I mean, there's way better units, I feel, on part 2 compared to part 3. That's just the way I see it right now. But the 10th multi, you're guaranteed to get one of these units. So, I mean, like, yeah, there's still some pretty decent units, but they're not like that top echelon. They're just, like, super solid units, but they're not the tippity top. I mean, Kaido versus Big Mom is still ridiculously good. But, I mean, you got Blackbeard, Zoro, like, Halloween Mihawk's kind of in that weird range. Snake Man's still really good. I mean, you got, like, Hawkins, Luffy, Zoro, like, yeah. I mean, it's fine. Law, Roger, Odin, there's still some good ones in here. And then the 7th and the 20th pull, you're guaranteed to get one of these. I mean, I guess the bad one here is probably Blackbeard, but any of these other units are really nice to get, so long as it isn't a dupe, of course. And then Jinbei is the boosted rare recruit for Law's part of the Sugo-Fest. But honestly, I definitely think Luffy's part of the Sugo-Fest looks better overall in terms of the available legends that you have access to here. So now we're looking at the 4th part of the Sugo-Fest, where Captain Kidd is here, and he's alongside Roger and Odin, Ace versus Akainu, V2 Vivi Rebecca, Halloween Law, Luffy and Sanji, Super Type Blackbeard, Sweet Commanders, Wano Law, Sugar, Mihawk Perona, you got Bullet as well, Jack is nice for EXP, very good for new accounts. Whitebeard's okay, Garp is a really good unit still as a crewmate, Tesoro, great support of course, good in PvP, Nami's a great sub still, I would say. And then you got Judge is still okay, I would say as well. But yeah, okay. I think part 4 is still pretty good too. I think part 4 has a really good array of units. And on the 10th pull, you're guaranteed to get one of these 15 units. I mean, like, nearly all of these units are units you want to have on your account. Like, these are all super solid units. And then the 7th and the 20th multi being restricted to this. Like, I would say Blackbeard's probably the least desirable unit here. Maybe Viva Rebecca. Viva Rebecca is still really good though. But I personally don't use Viva Rebecca that much these days. Halloween Law's great. Luffy Sanji, super solid. Ace vs Akainu, one of the best. And then you got access to these 3 as well. Dude, Kid's Part is really good. I think Kid's Part might be the best, honestly. Let's just compare the 7th and the 20th multi. Oh, it's close. I think if you want to go by it, I think maybe Kid's Part might be the best. I think so. I think you get more desirable units on Kid's Part just looking at the 7th and the 20th. It's definitely a toss-up, but like you got like Super Kaido and Magellan here. Like V3 Bow is still really good. Ah, man, that's a close one. And then obviously Killer is the rare recruit boosted for Kid's Part, which makes a lot of sense. But it's unfortunate, man, because like Law's part of the Sugo-Fest is just it just feels kind of average. But they kind of balance it out, because I personally believe that Law is probably going to be the best of these units moving forward. I feel like this unit's probably going to see the most play out of these legends that we're talking about, the Luffy, the Law, and the Kid. I feel like he is probably the best of them, but unfortunately his banner seemingly is the worst of the 3 of them. So that's a little unfortunate, man. So that's the rundown of all of these. I do think Luffy and Kid's banner are the best. Law's does appear to be the worst, but then again, it does come down to what you're missing and what you want to go for. I think if you're a new player, this part 4, does seem to be good, because you got access to Jack, and if you're able to pull Jack and then the rest of the good stuff that you want to get, you're able to level up your account super quickly. Having access to Jack in early game is great, and you got access to great subs, great supports, and then you got Roger Odin, Ace Akainu, Halloween Law sets up your int teams really good. You got Luffy Sanji that can be injected into any team. Sweet Commanders are a freaking solid unit. Wano Law is a fantastic unit. Sugar's an interesting one, but Sugar works well with Luffy because Luffy's quick. Law is really good to work with Sugar because Law boosts cerebral units, which Sugar is, and then Kid boosts driven units, which Sugar's also a driven unit. Being a quick, cerebral, and driven means that she works with Luffy, Law, and Kid. So Sugar may be a unit that you may want to get access to because it allows the rest of your team to hit through barriers and stuff. And if a character has last tap, Sugar will automatically make that last tap character attack last in the attack chain, which is really good, enabling you to get those beneficial effects off of that. So that's the rundown of the Sugo-Fest, guys. So I will be doing pulls on part 1 of the Sugo-Fest. Hopefully I can see you guys there over on twitch.tv/Toadskii, link down below in the video description. Looking forward to this one, and good luck to everyone out there that is deciding to pull on the Super Sugo-Fest coming up tomorrow, the 11th of September at 1900 PST time. Hopefully you enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.